Hi, third graders. We're going to continue on learning about living things and their life cycles. And today we're going to work on, actually the next couple weeks, we're going to be working on something called inherited traits. So we've been learning about how each living thing has a different type of life cycle, but a lot of the life cycles are very similar. And today we're going to be talking about how offspring, that means like a baby or a new life that comes from a parent, inherits, or inherit means to get from their parents, how they inherit traits that make them unique to that type of organism. So I want you to follow along with me as I read, and we're going to talk about what inherited traits are, and then you're going to look into Schoology for your assignment today that is going to be on inherited traits. So we're going to start here. It says, I can explain that living things inherit, that means get from the parent, inherit many characteristics from their parents, provide evidence showing that traits vary, so that means they change, in a group of similar organisms. So not every organism in that group will have the same traits. That's what vary means. The vocabulary words that you're going to hear, you're going to need to know are trait and inherit. And then the word variation is also going to be an important word. So let's read together. Insulin is something the human body usually makes. It helps keep the right amount of sugar in a person's blood. The bodies of some people do not make enough insulin. Those people need to take insulin as a medicine. The insulin they take is made by bacteria. Although some bacteria cause illness, most are harmless or even helpful. All organisms, including bacteria, have coded instructions that help make offspring similar to parents. Scientists can change these instructions through a process called genetic engineering. The process allows scientists to make bacteria that produce insulin. And down here is a picture that would come from a microscope of what bacteria might look like. So when I know that these paragraphs had some big words in them, and I just wanted to go back to coded instructions, meaning that inside of our bodies and all living things, our bodies are made to make the same type of organism that we are, or that other animals or plants are. And those are like directions to help you make a new offspring. So that's what it means, coded instructions to help make offspring similar to parents. And that those instructions make you very similar to your parents, but not exactly. That's also what the variation means. You're very similar to your parents, but you're not exactly the same. So that's what that means. Okay, let's look at this next page. It says traits from parents. You can tell that puppies in the picture are the same kind of dog. They have many features that are similar. For example, the fur is the same color, colors. So we're looking here, and even though they are not exactly the same, they are all black and white puppies, and they look similar. So something for you to think about. What other ways can you see in the photo that the puppies are alike? So look at that. What do you see that makes the puppies alike besides the color of their fur? That's something to think about. The reason that the puppies are so much alike is that they got their traits from their parents. A trait is a feature of an organism. A trait can be the way the body of the organism looks or works. It can also be the things that the organism does. For example, some animals know how to walk and feed themselves as soon as they are born. These actions are inherited. That's important. They're inherited traits. To inherit something means that you got it from your parents or ancestors. So ancestors are people that lived in your family a long time before you. Okay, next page. Traits of parents and offspring. And offspring are the babies of the parents. Offspring of the same parents have similar inherited traits. Offspring usually look a little like their mother and a little like their father, but they do not look exactly like either parent. That is why the puppies have some differences. The differences in organisms from the same parent is called variation. So a way to think about this, if you have brothers or sisters that came from both the same mom and the same dad, or if you know people that have come from the same mom and the same dad, they look similar to the mother and similar to the father, but not exactly the same. Okay, so compare and contrast. This is what we are also working on during reading. The parents of puppies are black and white, just as the puppies are. In what other ways are the puppies similar to their parents? How are they different? So this again, these are the parents. These are the offspring of those two. So think about it. How are they similar and how are they different? So how are the offspring, the babies, similar and different to the parents? Okay, now let's look at plants. What happens in plants? Traits in similar plants. Remember, similar plants, similar means the same. The plants in the photos do not come from the same parent plants. They are, though, the same kind of plant. They are pea plants. Their flowers and leaves have the same shape. Most pea plants have leaves and flowers with these same shapes. But the flowers of the two plants are different colors. Plants of the same kind have variations in their traits. Okay, remember, plants are just like people. Even though they come from the same parent, they don't grow exactly alike. They have variations. That means a little bit of changes. Color is not the only way plants vary. That means that they're different. The red and orange flowers are all the same kind, yet some of the plants are taller than others. Plants of the same kind have other variations, such as small differences in leaf shape and color, the number of thorns on a stem, or how rough a tree's bark is. Okay, again, so just because a plant is the same kind, they have variations. That means things that are different. And again, they say that some of those variations could be the shape and color of leaves, the thorns on a stem, or how rough the tree bark is. So let's think about this one. You are the same kind of organism as all the people around you. That's because we are all humans. In your science notebook, and actually we don't need to write this down, I just want you to think about it. Think about how you are unique. That means how are you different from the others around us? Even though we are all people, how are you different from others? And make that list in your head. How are you different from other people? Just something to think about. Okay, and let's look at the last page. It says traits in similar animals. So we talked about how plants that are similar still can have differences, while animals can also have differences. Let's look at that. One reason people like to collect shells is that shells come in many sizes, shapes, colors, and patterns. Some of the differences are because the shells are from different kinds of animals. The snail shells in the picture, though, are the same kind of animal. The white-lipped banded snail So these are all white-lipped banded snails. So like plants, animals of the same kind have variations in their traits. So again, these snails are all white-lipped banded snails, but look how they all have a difference. They have variations. All right, boys and girls, so now that we've read about traits that come from parents, those are called inherited traits. That means those are things that happen naturally that we cannot change. Remember that word, inherited traits. You are going to be doing an assignment in Schoology, so please go into the science folder and check out the assignment. Good job, boys and girls, and we'll see you next time.